nothing major will happen, and the three of you can deal with most situations. I'll just be NPCing Isa and Proof until they are here. Man, that dog.
Are we full health, aren't we?
Yeah. I will say a few hours pass as you guys find yourselves to sleep a little shaken again. Morning comes around and you awaken with your full hit points, no longer paralyzed, no longer blessed as well.
Sorry, I gotta log into Roll20 still. That's so funny.
What's funny?
Yeah,
that the dog was asleep until we decided to start playing.
Ha!
Why is your dog so mad all the time? Like, what do they bark at?
It's like you're not allowed.
Live.
well, one of them is an Australian Shepherd, so he barks at everything, and he's like half deaf and half blind, so everything takes him by surprise, and he's just got a lot of energy. So he barks at everything. And my other dog he chases leaves around in the yard and barks.
Well, at least your other dog doesn't actually, instead of chasing leaves, gets frightened by leaves. I've seen dogs have that.
Yeah.
Right. As you guys awaken the day after the fight with the very, very deadly centipedes, that Mercedes just blasted with just Dragon Ball Z energy beams with magic missiles. The tents and sleeping arrangements that you have put up are flailing slightly as a heavy wind is beginning to roll through the mesa that you are traveling through. So we have heavy wind for today. All perception checks relying on hearing are a disadvantage, and range attacks cannot go farther than their first increment.
Oh, lovely.
All right, that's chill.
At least I don't actually have it.
Rowan wakes up with a groan. All right, cool. Yeah, I just got her hair braided.
As you wake up, you kind of the place where the centipede beat you last night, like your side, your waist, is kind of hurting a little bit, and as you kind of look at it, there is just the smallest bit of a leftover hole, and the skin around it is kind of red.
Oh, don't worry, I got covered. I got my face covered in freaking centipede goo.
Your beard is kind of green and red.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably get up very slowly, whining a bit, and get out of the tent and just stretch everything, make sure blood is still flowing to all of my limbs. Doing some yoga shit. As far as I know, yeah. Unless the DM wants to tell me I'm paralyzed forever.
No, you're fine. You're fine to move. It's the next morning.
Yep. So yeah.
Yeah, it was only for 1 hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only for 1 hour, and it's the morning after, so you guys are fine. Your rage is back, and everything back together. And the bodies of the centipedes are lying to the side, not to bother you guys overnight. A few flies have begun to kind of hover over the bodies.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, we need to get out of here. I don't want to spend another hour here, or minute, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right,
we should leave right after breakfast.
Oh, did we actually bring breakfast? Provisions, I suppose.
Do you have rations?
I'm sure we brought some.
So Rowan's got a
That would have been smart, yeah.
You bought some, I believe, yes. I think, at least.
I have rations for myself,
yeah,
but
I've
that's
got
just
rations.
speaking for myself.
Yeah, I was just munching some rations, so I should minus 1 ration.
I think aren't rations by like day or are they by meal?
But
Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can discount at the start of the day, and it counts for the rest of the day that you are kind of munching on them.
Alright,
Well,
munching
it
rations.
looks like Mercy was stupid enough to not bring rations because they're not in the scholars pack.
Oops.
Oh no, scholars don't get rations.
I'll share.
Oh.
I'll share a portion of my rations to Mercedes.
Yay!
There you
Friends.
There you go.
go.
I'll probably go wake up Vanessa.
Vanessa is kind of as
Kicker.
well as you, kind of the shoulder hurting a little bit, but she gets up and begins to eat breakfast, the same as Isa. Isa is kind of holding a hand onto the
Oh yeah, the
the
exotic
bedrolls that the not today, but I will be controlling her so you have her abilities available. Kind of puts a hand on the bedroll that the centipedes stepped over, and the tears that their feet left while they stepped over begin to close up.
Nifty. While everyone else is eating, I'm probably nauseous and starting to break down our tent. One of the tents.
Yeah.
Really like your
Yeah,
hair.
Oh yeah, she reaches back to touch her hair and she's trying to figure it. And then she kind of just looks at Mercedes and goes, "Thanks."
What?
But she doesn't undo it. She just leaves it.
Oh yeah, that Flat kind of noticed and just giggling while eating.
Giggling. Now that is something I cannot understand. I just shoot him a weird look.
Why is it so weird for Flag to giggle?
Cause I don't know.
Because
it is. I guess maybe just giggle is like also a very interesting word to use. You know, he's not like laughing. Like giggling is what you would imagine like I don't know, school children do.
Okay, chuckle, a small chuckle. Well, like
There we go. That's
there.
I like that a little
Chortle.
bit better. A chortle? No.
Chortle.
I hate that. I don't know what it is about that word. Vanessa!
What?
Nothing.
Just screaming at Poof to
Just
come in.
screaming. Yep. Hey, so where we at?
You are currently all the way down here.
Alright.
It's up to you if you want to continue on your normal pace, normal marching order.
Oh yeah, me first. Yeah.
Worked thus far.
It has. I got the highest
I
passive,
suppose.
haven't I? Yeah. I can't believe I got 15. It's fucking insane.
What, as a passive? Yeah, that's pretty high. That's Wait, you can't have a 15. That's like higher than me.
I honestly got to have. Well, I did roll really fucking high.
On perception?
No, I mean on my rolls.
Wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, I thought you didn't use
16.
wisdom.
No, but he can have a high score anyway.
Yeah, I can have a high score anyway. I got a 16 for wisdom. So it's a +3 to it. Fucking insane. It's crazy.
And
Barnaby has a 13 passive perception, and if he sees anything harmful, he'll tell Mercedes.
just a normal pace, and we'll say it's your small party as you continue, as you kind of get your things together or finish your breakfast. All right, we'll wait for Flag because he needs to make me a few rolls. I believe, Rowan, didn't you mean to do something with the corpses?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess she would kind of think about that. She'd want to investigate to see if there was some way she could siphon poison from one of them into a vial or
Right.
flask or
Yeah,
something.
we'll say that you have a few. You have a poisoner's kit, don't you?
I have what?
You have a poisoner's kit, I believe. Or at
I
least you
do
have
not.
Yeah, you have
I do
provisions.
not.
Right.
I'm back. Oh, sorry.
But I imagine it would be a sleight of hand check. That was what I was imagining.
No. It will be a survival check first.
Oh, right. To see if I poison myself again.
No,
Oh, yeah,
to
don't
see
do
if
that.
you can find the proper glands that you need.
Oh, okay. So I'll totally make a survival check. I'm gonna ask for Mercedes's help to hold the thing down or something. I don't know.
I will help.
All right.
All right. So you have advantage on this roll.
Survival.
Ooh.
All right. With Mercedes's help, you had a natural 20 and a natural 1.
Nice. Thanks for helping.
Yeah. Having faced these creatures face to face, seeing their weird mandibles and mouths as they were attacking you, you managed to, with your dagger and with Mercedes' help, kind of holding one of the most unharmed heads to the side. You kind of shove your dagger between the plates of the lower neck and tug, and your trunk of the flesh kind of pulls off. And there, hidden amongst the muscle and sinew, underneath the mouth and the mandibles, you see these heavy, almost like pear-shaped green glands. It will be another survival check to see how much, if you want to take them or if you want to poke them and milk them.
Yeah, I don't want to take the glands out. I kind of want to just make a small hole and drain them to a vial.
This will be a sleight of hand check.
Rad.
I'll help.
All right.
Advantage on this check as well. All right, yeah, no problem. And the DC was higher because a few hours passed, but with the point of the dagger and holding a little glass flask that you have, poke it real quick and begin to press the edge of the flask right underneath the new hole, and this green kind of thick honey-like liquid begins to pour and sludge onto the vial. So now you have a vial of a centipede poison.
Sick.
Put in parentheses paralyzing.
All right. Flask of paralytic poison.
It's
So
gross.
you could put that onto like a arrow or something.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially, yes.
Or
Yeah.
dip your blade in it. Coat it.
That's the potential plan.
How much?
I don't know.
How much would it
Rowan
actually
likes to
coat?
collect things. I mean, it's
What's your question?
How much uses would it actually have? The vial.
Depends. Vial kind of Rowan kind of weighing what she's been able to pull from one gland. You may be able to coat a dagger 2 times, a short sword 1 time, and 5 pieces of ammunition.
all right. I'll take it. That's fair.
It's very gross.
Yes.
Yep. She
It's like you're
nods.
having
Yeah, I can't believe
a
him.
Nickelodeon slack. Yeah.
Hmm?
Do you remember the Nickelodeon slime? It's like having that on a vial.
Why are you asking just Flag? Everybody remembers slime.
And I meant to say gag and came out as flak.
Gag.
I just want
That's
to
the
know
term.
why Mercedes actually helped. I mean,
Because she likes me and I asked.
That's not
It's true.
Mercedes kind of thing, though. Really?
No, it's totally not. It's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked.
Yep.
Okay then.
Yeah, she'll thank you. She'll tuck it carefully in her bag, and she's like, "I won't make you do that again." Probably.
Thank you.
And then helps put down the rest of the tents, I suppose,
Yeah, I'll help.
so that we're ready to go.
Mhm.
Aye.
Right. Now let's say since Flag is at the front, I'm going to need a perception check from you. If anyone wants to gather, no, survival check from Flag, sorry, with advantage thanks to the map. Perception check from Rowan and Vanessa, I think it was.
Oh, Christ.
I don't remember. Whatever you say.
Thank Christ
Yes,
for the
Rowan and
survival.
Vanessa.
Thanks for the advantage.
And I will,
Woohoo!
yes, roll for her.
Your eyesight is still partly paralyzed.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a little
just
shaky.
groggy. I didn't get much sleep.
Not my fault.
Definitely not your fault. The opposite of your fault. You
All
helped.
right. And if Mercedes wants to do anything while you guys are traveling for the day, and that's up to her.
What's the perception for?
To spot
Yeah.
things.
To see if we notice anything on our journey,
I meant Joe.
you know, so we get attacked on the road.
I meant Joe. Joe did it as well.
Oh, it
Oh,
was
for,
for yes,
Oh.
for both.
Well, then what about
He's
Ethan?
playing them as he's kind enough to play them as NPCs for us while we journey, so that we can still have use of their skills.
Oh.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
my
no.
skills are not helpful.
For travel, you don't have a lot, I think. Right. As you guys push for another day of travel, are you still following the road?
Aye.
Yep.
Yes.
Continue to move southeast, I believe it is.
Although Rowan is
Southwest.
probably looking for more guard posts because she totally forgot about those existing.
Doesn't
During the
appear
day,
that there. Yep, go ahead.
Barnaby will hunt because Mercedes forgot to bring rations, so he will forage.
All right. Roll a
Also,
survival check for your bird.
I thought we'd actually.
Wow!
Wow.
Yay, Barnaby!
Doesn't get a lot. You are leaving the green bells for the most part through this day, and you are getting more to the desert area that marks the beginning of the area.
I thought Barnaby
So
would try
travel.
to eat one of those centipede things.
oh my
Ew.
god.
Well,
Mm.
it's more for Vanessa. It's more for Mercedes than for itself, since it doesn't eat it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Right. As your survival goes along, you guys kind of having to cover your heads a little bit as the wind stops pulling along leaves and flowers from these luscious green, just beautiful green fields around you, and begins to push more coarse sand in your face.
Oh, lovely.
So you're
Rowan's
pushing.
probably gonna like wrap herself up like a zombie and pull a scarf up over her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great idea.
That would also help her hide her identity, but you know,
That's true.
don't know if you guys know if she needs to do that.
Mercy will just do it because someone else did it, and it looked like a good idea.
That's fair. It probably will be.
Flack just puts one of his hands up to kind of shield his eyes and just plows on.
No. As you guys are pushing through, Vanessa kind of moving along the path. Amanda, Rowan is kind of a little focused on covering her face, making sure everything is fine. She points in this direction.
I do?
No, Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
She
Because she
points
got a better
at,
perception check than me.
yes, that away, and says, is that a settlement? She kind of points in that direction as she kind of look over. You see in the distance, about 2, maybe 3 miles away, what appears to be steel shapes. You see squarish, circular-like settlement, buildings there in the distance. It's about midday.
Has Rowan noticed that Mercedes definitely didn't bring rations?
Yes.
All right.
She would be complaining about that pretty significantly.
She'd probably mention to Flack, hey, maybe we should make a pit stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we make a pit stop. You know,
That's my idea.
this person needs to get provisions, and we may need to get antidote.
That would
I
be
will.
smart.
I will send Barnaby over there.
Oh yeah, scout ahead. That's smart too.
Mm.
Also, out of character note, not sure we're gonna be able to afford antidote. Just gonna put that out there. Most of the time, potions are real expensive.
I thought potions of magical potions of healing would be.
I mean, if anybody has nature,
Nope.
what's the word? Proficiency, we might be able to collect like a natural antidote. Like an herbalism kit type situation, but
That's what
Joe, back me up on this. Are we going to be able to afford an antidote potion if we?
I'm just looking at it. Antitoxin is worth 50 gold pieces.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As
Okay.
someone with a poisoner's kit or a herbalism kit or brew, no, a potion making abilities can make a vial with a quarter of the price and a day of work. But you need the
if we're
kit
just
itself.
encountering centipedes, spending an hour being paralyzed might be a lot cheaper than all of those options. I mean, I think eventually Rowan will probably want to pick up an herbalism kit. Because all of my characters end up collecting herbalism kits. I don't know, it's just a thing of mine. But in the meantime, I've only got thieves' tools and smith's tools.
Yeah.
As you guys, do you guys begin to make your way towards this settlement?
I think we wait for Barnaby to come back.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best move. You know, out of character, because it's not like Mercedes had come up with that idea.
Yeah, Rowan definitely would.
Yeah. It may take Barnaby about an hour to go and come back. It's over a mile away.
Well, you know, we can still head in that direction, and if he comes back and like, hey, yeah, it's full of skeletons or something,
then we definitely go.
Right, because skeletons sell lots of antidote and rations.
Yeah,
they're well known for that.
As you guys begin to make your way, walking for about 40 minutes in that direction to begin to make your way there. Eventually, Barnaby glides back and gives Mercedes the
DL.
The mental message of it's empty, destroyed buildings. But there is something weird near the north of the town. Something you should see.
Something we should see? Is this owl leading us to our death?
Well, he is kind of a jerk.
Yeah, Rowan knows that. Rowan doesn't trust this owl.
Well, you're only going to hear what Mercedes tells you because Barnaby communicates telepathically with Mercedes.
Oh, right. That's true. Okay, so what does Mercedes say about what he says?
So, doesn't look like there's anyone there, but maybe there's some stuff laying around.
All right. Rowan's not below pillaging. She asks, did you say what happened? Were there villagers that, I don't know, like what happened to them?
He's an owl.
He's
There's
an
no
owl.
one. There's no one there right now. That's all he can tell me.
God. Well, at least there's no bodies.
That he told me about.
You see the owl
but
kind of
what dead
gives
people look like, right?
Rowan a side eye.
My perception, can I roll a new perception check once we get into town? Because that was shit.
Fuck it, let's go. Flag's board is going.
Yeah.
He's interested.
Yeah, if you want to go once you approach, I will shift you over to the map. But yeah, as you guys continue for some other 20-25 minutes in the direction of the village, you see the stone buildings are a wall, those that are outside in the edge of town. Looks less like a village as you approach, more just like a simple settlement. No roads, no major structures, just huts made of stone, circular silos of sorts. And you do notice that the sand that has been blowing for some time has begun to pile up against some of the buildings. And I will say, since we only have 3 people at the moment, I'll just roll a d6. 3, so we'll say Flak. As you are going ahead, moving closer to the village, you're moving, your feet kind of sink on the sand and dry the ground a little bit, and you hit the tip of your boot against something. And as you look down, there is this kind of chunk of wood half hidden into the sand.
Chunk of wood.
Yes. You can only see that corner of it.
That's strange. Okay, I'll dig out the piece of wood.
It's going to pull, shift a little bit. It's about 2 feet by 2 feet. And it appears to be different planks of wood that have been tied together to make something of a sign. It appears to have something written on this black, either ink, paint, or sludge, but Flak really can't recognize if it's a language or just drawings.
Okay.
Which languages start Flak? Yeah.
Common and Dwarven.
Yeah, Flak kind of holds it and he's looking at it.
Okay, I walk over to him and over his shoulder to see if I can read it.
Which languages do you understand?
Quite a few. I read Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, and Thieves' Cant.
Damn.
Thieves' Cant is only spoken.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a language, and so I still say it. Okay, whatever.
No, Thieves' Cant can be used in a written form as well.
Yes. Got symbols and shit.
Well, if everyone's looking at it, I will wander over. I speak Draconic in addition to some of the other ones that have already been mentioned.
Yeah. Mercedes cannot make out if it's a language. She cannot read it. But Mercedes can make me a history check because she might have seen this in the past.
Can Issa read it? Is it
Nope.
Mercedes just kind of looks at it and doesn't make any sense to her.
These are clearly pictographs from the ancient civilization of the Mayakeen. No one's spoken this language for thousands of years.
Issa and Vanessa cannot make it out.
Oh, so none of us. It's a language that none of us speak, or it's not a language?
Well, it's
Either.
Mayakan. It's been dead for
right.
1,000 years.
Yeah, Mercy is. All right, well, Mercy speaks with such confidence. Rowan just shrugs, and she's like, all right, so it's Incan.
Dan, roll a persuasion or deception check.
Well, she doesn't know that she's lying. So it could be just persuasion.
Sounds pretty honest.
Right? It's honest deception.
Yeah. So those with a passive insight above 11 can tell Mercedes is pulling some things out of her ass.
Has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Where's the passive insight?
10 plus your insight. Whatever insight skill you have. So Flag, you have +3 to wisdom. So yeah, you have a passive insight of 13.
Oh shit! Like, yeah, I believe you. Others won't.
And let me just move you guys to the map, so you have an idea of what you are seeing.
Oh, excuse me.
Oof. Yeah,
I
just littered with stones, dry trees, bushes, all just kind of likely covered in sand to an extent. Seems pretty silent, actually.
do we
Can
see
you
general-
put
You hear the
Barnaby in this tree right here?
yes. Barnaby.
Rowan is going to suggest from this point forward that they sneak. The Bisneki.
Yeah, but
Snacky snack.
Since
can
we
I
don't
see...
know what to expect. Just because Barnaby didn't see any people doesn't mean that there aren't,
It's true.
peeps here. She means
Barnaby
people
will
in, like,
be
a
diverting
room.
his attention to find mice, squirrels, any kind of ground rodent, rabbits
That's
maybe.
chill. Ooh, rabbits?
Mhm.
Mercy
Rabbits.
could probably
What
eat.
was your question, Fleck?
Can we see a general store at all?
Roll a perception check.
Ooh, I want to roll a perception check too, but I'm not looking for a general store. I'm looking for things that are moving.
All right, roll a perception check as well. Flag can pretty easily see. The DC was 5.
I can't find my own ass.
Yeah, Flag can see there are no signs besides the one that he has in his hands. So there is no marking between household and business.
Well, that means we'll have to go through each one. If there's a general store, there may be stuff abandoned. We could actually grab some stuff.
Be right back. I gotta
Oh,
let my
God.
dog in.
No. As Rowan is kind of leaning forward to see if she can find any movement, just the wind pushes just a wall of sand into her eyes.
Oh dear. Well, she can't see no more.
Yeah, I can't see shit.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. So yeah, you guys want to move? I will just have the NP characters follow you. And you have this field of vision.
Come back!
You have this field of vision because of the sandstorms kind of blocking your sight. I think some of you meant to go stealthily.
I can roll for stealth, sons of bitches. Please.
Flag, Daryl, remember to turn off your advantage. Right.
Oh, right, yeah.
I got a perfect 20.
Mercedes will
I one with the sand. All right.
Mercedes will yell back to Rowan. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Wait, hang on.
I shake my head.
Alright, give me a moment. Seeing you move stealthily, the other two will move stealthily as well. But yep, as you guys are kind of
I'll
see
take the
how
lead.
you
I
do.
lead in
Yeah.
stealth.
Yep. Rowan just kind of gets down to the ground and begins to move with the movement of the with every bank of sand that is pushed by the sandstorm. Rowan moves with it pretty slickly, but none of you see
I'm
it.
doing like interpretive dance, but I can't see shit.
Right. Issa and Vanessa are kind of stealthy, so they're going to move behind Mercedes. Right? As you move forward, Rowan, just kind of with each step of the wind, everything looks silent. As you look, most of the buildings have a space for entrances, but the doors are off their hinges. And there are banks of sand already forming within the buildings. You see bits of furniture kind of broken or half standing. Around that point, Rowan, run me an investigation check.
Anybody want to help?
You cannot have help here.
Hello.
It's only for
Yeah.
you.
Sorry about that. Had a phone call. What's going on? What's
Nine.
happening?
And 9, as you're kind of pushing your hand against this wall, kind of holding yourself and peeking inside the building, nothing catches your attention.
Yeah.
Alright,
I'm not
keep
very
going.
stealthy.
Well, oh my god.
11.
Rowan shakes her head.
As I described, like most of the buildings here are missing their doors and they have some sand within them already.
Can I go in them?
People have been going for a while.
So you push through further row and same things, broken windows, some doors just split open, hidden by the sun somewhat. Flag, getting there, roll me an investigation check.
What's over here? What's so special?
Flag, as you are kind of looking inside the building, you kind of brush your shoulder against the wall, and some of the sand that got encrusted by some moisture perhaps falls down. And you see carved onto the stone there are 4 symbols.
4 symbols.
That you actually recognize because you have tip scanned.
Oh, right.
You see what the first symbol appears to be a half broken glass. The second symbol is a hunched over dog. The third symbol is a blank square. And the fourth is a blank square with an arrow pointing to the center.
Rowan. I shout for Rowan and tell her to come back over here.
Oh my god. I grumble about how we're supposed to be sneaking, but I come over.
Right.
And I look at it.
And
I point out the symbols on the wall. What does it actually say?
Oh yeah, what does it actually, since we both speak thieves can't?
the symbols, to translate. The first symbol, the half broken glass, signifies that something very bad happened here. The second symbol, the hunch over dog, has no translation in Tipscant. You don't know what it means.
Oh.
The third symbol, the blank square, signifies that whoever made these symbols found the place empty, no loot to be found. At least they didn't find anything. And the fourth symbol, the blank square with an arrow pointing into the center, means that this is a very good place for a Dropbox.
For what?
A Dropbox, a place for to make exchanges without being noticed.
Ah, okay. So thieves have been using it as a way station.
So there's possibly
Or at least the
some
person who made it.
So if it's a drop point, then there could be stuff there.
We could also run into some unsavory folk.
Meh.
I'm not necessarily looking forward to running into another rogue.
I'll say with the 16 flag, you also notice something in the back of the building that you are in.
Yeah.
there is this old forgotten arrow kind of sticking between the blocks that make the back wall of the building. There is something cut in between the point of the arrow and the wall.
I retrieve it.
Bullet.
Rowan shakes her head and she's like, "You better hope that's not trapped."
As you pull it, the arrow kind of breaks in your grasp straight up. But against the metal point of the arrow, there is this series of dry, crumbling, brown lengths of hair.
Oh, lengths of hair.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody got shot and died here.
Shot. Technically.
Yeah, they got arrowed, okay?
Arrowed.
Arrowed, I like that, yeah. Well, this place kind of seems dangerous. Let's investigate this some more. Flack wants more.
I leave him there and try to gather the rest of the group. I'm not too interested in staying any longer.
Okay, so while they are checking that one
Yeah.
out and
Yes.
discussing, I'm gonna pop into this one right here.
All right. As soon as Mercedes goes into the building, same, a layer of sand and stone on the ground. Should point out most of the roofs of these buildings are gone. They appear to be, there are the crossbeams made of wood, but whatever was covering them is just gone. Same kind of vision as before. There is a broken picture frame on one of the walls, but furniture, beds, kind of has been upturned. Mercedes, roll me a perception check.
No.
Don't see anything else. More sound to your eyes.
I go to the other side of the little settlement into the more words are hard.
Rectangular.
Yep, rectangular. Building.
Right. This flag, as you kind of poke inside, there is half a collapsed counter that appears to be made of wood mostly, but the rest of the counter is kind of swarmed by the sand and just empty. I'll say Flag does see kind of poking from the sand what appears to have been a strong box, a metal strong box. The bottom is in one side of the room. The lid is kind of encrusted in the wall on the opposite side, like it was thrown and just got stuck in there.
Wow. Well, there's definitely nothing in here then. I'm gonna back up quite slowly.
Yeah, a few insects. Just a few scalabards kind of climbing around. Scalabards.
We need to get out of whatever happened
Flag,
here.
as you get kind of midway, you do see something between the waves of sand. Past your vision.
Right.
There is something standing, not as big as a building, and there are several of them.
I'm going up this way, guys. I'll have a look. I'm going up for a look.
Rowan thinks about saying something about sticking together, shakes her head, realizing he's not going to listen and he's already gone, and decides to stick with the ladies.
Right. Flag, as
Okay.
you step forward,
Go in
you
here.
see the ground begins to give up, and you, with your short stature, takes you a moment, but yes, you do see a hole in the ground, rather large. And past it, you see what appears to be statues facing away from you.
What the fuck are they?
Mercedes went into this guy, right?
Into this one?
Yeah. So I'm going to
Yep.
check this one out.
No, I went into this one here.
And yeah, you went
I'm
into
still
the,
going
but you're going. Right.
Wait, I'm checking
See,
That's where I was gonna go next, where Rowan is now.
Come and join me.
Oh, you don't have to ask me twice.
She's tugging on her braid in thought. I don't know, I'm standing in the doorway.
yeah.
I'm gonna go back.
I'm still
Uh,
convinced there are traps somewhere.
I'm gonna go back
what's
to the rest of the
your...
party.
Oh, let me make a perception check.
Oh, I'm just gonna walk in.
Well, fuck it.
It appears to be, it's kind of hard to pushing the door that is still standing. This particular building is filled with a fungus. As you push, you notice it is mostly a cylinder, appears to have been a silo of some kind. And the floor is kind of, and the walls are just covered with fungus.
Well,
Oh, this must have been their mushroom farm.
Rowan decides not to correct her.
Mm.
She makes the conscious decision. She opens her mouth and then closes it.
It's a very
Yeah, I
important
don't
source of
enter.
nutrition in the desert.
Yeah.
Rowan says, Mercedes, you might not want to stay in there too long. You could be inhaling some dangerous spores or something.
Hallucinogenics. Yay.
It's so kind
I
of
really
you to
don't want
worry about me.
Mercedes hallucinating.
Oh my
fluid.
god.
Fuck.
Yeah, Flag would be excited about that. Can I do a nature check to see if this fungus is going to be harmful? Joe? Yeah?
Yes.
Cool.
He said
Yeah.
yes.
I see it.